Welcome back folks, my name is LastKnownMeal and today we're gonna be talking about CD Projekt Red. So today CD Projekt dropped a bombshell of information which I was not expecting at all, because initially I was expecting them to just drop a release date for the next gen upgrade of The Witcher 3, but what we got is information that they will be developing a sequel to Cyberpunk 2077, a multiplayer Cyberpunk game, and 3 new Witcher games, where one of them right now is confirmed to be single player slash multiplayer, that being the one from the Molasses Flood. And also on top of that, they announced that they're going to be working on a new IP. So we have a lot to cover, and let's start with the first one. So when it comes to the long-term product outlook, CD Projekt Red has released a lot. They went full Ubisoft with basically what they were saying, because they have announced basically all of the projects which they're gonna be working on in the next 6 to 10 years. So first off, let's start with Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. So they said that this is going to be a major story-driven expansion to Cyberpunk 2077, and the current project stage is in the final production phase. So it does seem, if they do say the final production phase, it could be that we're gonna be getting Phantom Liberty in the Q1 of 2023 like it was promised before. And currently they have 350 plus people working on it, so that's a huge team for the expansion itself. That's why I do expect for this expansion to be relatively huge. Now again, they haven't specified the month itself, they just wrote 2023, so my guess is that they are still maybe holding on to the Q1 of 2023, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it was delayed to Q2. And as it was promised, it's gonna be coming out on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, PC, and Stadia. They have to remove this. Next up we have Project Sirius. Now this is a project from the Molasses Flood studio, which is a studio I've been talking about a lot in the past. Do keep in mind that Molasses Flood has been working on single player slash multiplayer games in the past, and that's why I said that the next project they're gonna be working on is most likely going to be a Witcher based single player slash multiplayer game. And I was right, and this is what they wrote. An innovative take on the Witcher universe, telling an unforgettable story for existing Witcher fans and new audiences. Now I am kinda interested in one thing, because they keep mentioning that this is going to be a story for new audiences and the existing ones, and a new outlook on the project and the world itself. I kinda think that maybe the Molasses Flood is going to maintain their vision and kind of a style they have for their titles and games, where the graphics and, well, the style of those graphics is kind of a cartoon-like, or, well, more comedic rather than being, you know, for mature audiences like the previous Witcher games were. So I kind of think that Project Sirius is going to be more of a, you know, a lighter Witcher project itself, which is going to be that, well, single player slash multiplayer. But again, I do wonder if this is going to be some sort of a survival, or maybe they're gonna be taking on something different, I'm not sure. But you know, Molasses Flood has been really going into somewhat survival games, so maybe they're gonna be having something similar to that. And you know, survival games in general, if done, you know, right, can be extremely popular, so it's not surprising. And this is actually, they have 60 plus people working on it, both from the Molasses Flood studio, and it's being supported by CD Projekt Red devs. Of course, we don't have a release date for this project, because it's posted after Phantom Liberty. I don't expect it, maybe at the end of 2023, or maybe even 2024, depending on the game itself. Now we arrived at Project Polaris, and Project Polaris is going to be that Witcher game we already know about, so the start of a new saga of The Witcher. And as they wrote here, this is a story-driven open-world RPG built on the legacy of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Current project stage is in pre-production, like we kinda imagine it's going to be, because most people right now are working, you know, on the actual expansion for Cyberpunk 2077. Do keep in mind, this is actually developed by CD Projekt Red core team, and it's important I say core team of CD Projekt Red, because it's insane. We'll get into it. So right now they have 150 people working on it, and as they said here, it's a beginning of a new Witcher trilogy. So this new thing that the core CD Projekt Red team is gonna be doing, this is going to be a trilogy, and all 3 games aim to be delivered within a 6-year period following the Polaris release, so damn. Of course, we don't have more information about this, but because the project is still very far away, I'm not expecting it, anytime soon, because keep in mind, first it goes the expansion, then the Molasses Flood Witcher game, and then we're getting a new big Witcher game. Now, the reason why I said the core CD Projekt Red team is because there is another Witcher project being announced called Project Canis Majoris. Now, this is going to be a story-driven single-player open-world RPG set within the Witcher universe, and this is going to be different to the Witcher game we know about so far. And this is contracted to be developed by a third-party studio led by ex-Witcher veterans. Guys, this is insane. They actually outsourced The Witcher to people who have already worked on previous Witcher games. This is amazing. This is going to be insane. Now, I do wonder, where is this going to be set, compared to, their, flagship Witcher game, and if this is going to be a big one or maybe a smaller one compared to that. But it's crazy because you're going to have ex-Witcher veterans develop this. I mean, okay, you got my attention now, CD Projekt Red, but again, I don't think this is coming out anytime soon, but because this is actually contracted to be given to another team, maybe it's not going to be that far away after all, but I do wonder if maybe this is going to be a prequel or something like that. And now we arrive to Cyberpunk 2077 sequel called Project Orion. As I mentioned before, if you invested tens of millions of dollars into promoting a product such as a Cyberpunk for CD Projekt Red, there is no way you're going to abandon it. So this is going to be, as they said, Cyberpunk 2077 sequel that will prove the full power and potential of the Cyberpunk universe. So basically what they want to do with this project is this is going to be a big I'm sorry for Cyberpunk 2077, at least when it comes to technical difficulties. And now utilizing actually Unreal Engine 5, and because this is going to be developed by CD Projekt Red team, the core team, I expect this to be something truly insane. Now, of course, I can already assume that this is going to be set in Night City, it's only logical to happen. And because this is going to be a sequel, I do wonder in what year this is actually going to be set after 2077. I wonder if it's gonna be 78 or maybe they're going to go even further. And also, they're gonna be expanding with a third IP, Project Hadar. This is going to be a new standalone IP distinct from The Witcher and Cyberpunk 2077. This is going to be developed 100% internally, IP incubation since late 2021. So they already pretty much know what is this going to be about and how is it going to be, well, done as a video game. And currently it's in a conceptual phase by a small strike team. So yeah, at the same time, look, this project and this third IP is gonna be years from now. So people have been talking about Thorgal, being their new IP, but you have to think about it, Thorgal is actually quite similar to The Witcher, so I kinda don't think that this is going to be Thorgal after all. But when they say something different, totally from, let's say, Cyberpunk 2077 being obviously cyberpunk subgenre, and then at the same time having Witcher, which is medieval fantasy kind of a thing, maybe they're gonna be going into sci-fi or something like that? I mean, even if it's a sci-fi, it has to be different from Cyberpunk itself, it's obviously not going to be that, but I mean, right now we can just keep guessing what is this going to be, but because it's different and distinct from the usual projects, I mean, it could be anything right now. And as I've been saying for the past couple of months, when it comes to multiplayer, CD Projekt Red is gonna be heavily going into multiplayer. As we already know, they're going to have the multiplayer game from the Molasses Flood one, which is also going to be single player. And of course, when it comes to Cyberpunk 2077, I'm honestly quite sure that Cyberpunk itself is going to, of course, have multiplayer, because why not? It's just going to be a win-win if it's a good project. And also, they're gonna be expanding into TV and film, so basically what's been happening with Edgerunners is just a beginning. So in the future, we're gonna be getting even more projects from TV to film, so I'm guessing anime, live action set in The Witcher and Cyberpunk 2077, or well, Cyberpunk universe itself. Now when it comes to Witcher, it's a little bit more complicated because Netflix has the rights, but maybe they're going to do something to have a co-production, because it wouldn't surprise me. They already did a co-production between many projects, including the anime itself, including the Netflix show, and then of course Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which was released on Netflix itself. So with this logic, I definitely do think that in the future majority of their stuff is gonna be going to Netflix itself, and I expect a bigger collaboration between the two on most of the projects so far. Now when it comes to their employees and how they're gonna be conducting business, well, they said that they have learned a lesson from Cyberpunk 2077 release, and right now the only thing which they want to do is do right by their developers and fans alike. Now, as I said before, you know, words are words, but the actions speak much louder. So far, I mean, this looks amazing. All of the projects here they have announced and how they're planning to introduce them in general is just a win-win in my situation overall when it comes to CD Projekt Red. But please, when it comes to just working developers and everything which happens with management, please, I hope CDPR, you learned the lesson and things from before are not going to happen again. But you can see how much Unreal Engine 5 actually helps them in this situation, because there is no way they would be releasing this many projects with Red Engine itself. So I'm guessing that yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see like how generally the games are gonna be looking in Unreal Engine, because this is the first time we're getting a CD Projekt Red game in a different engine besides The Witcher 1. And also at the same time, it does seem that when it comes to either TV or series, they have a new project being worked on right now, so I do wonder what is it going to be, or is it going to be another anime? I doubt it's going to be season 2 of Edgerunners. I'm pretty sure they're done with that story in general. So for the end, this is what they want to achieve. 3 enduring franchises, more content for gamers with memorable single-player stories and multiplayer experiences, mobile, TV and film, and more in association with external partners. Now right now there is one thing, and that's the next gen upgrade for The Witcher 3. There is absolutely nowhere to be found, so I kind of think that they're not going to be announcing it yet, but I wouldn't worry about it because they've repeated multiple times that it's coming out in the 4th quarter of 2022, so it's basically still standing. Now they're also going to be building a new studio in North America, so they're going to have the Vancouver hub, the Boston hub, Wrocław hub, Krakow hub, and Warsaw hub in Europe. So this is interesting because they want to attract a lot more people in United States, because you know, sometimes when you want a top talent in United States, not all of them want to move to Europe or Poland or whatever, so you're going to make a company there and you're going to, well, make it easier and cheaper for yourself to do it that way. And because they said here that Cyberpunk Edgerunners was a fine example of achieving the transmedia synergy, this just tells you they're gonna be neck deep into these projects in the future, which is kinda expected. And look, this was a big video, but this is everything I have for you today. I will go through more stuff because there is a lot, and I will either go live tomorrow or I'm going to have an update video to this, but thank you so much for watching. Tell me down below, what do you think about all of this? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button for more, and if you want to support the channel in an extra way, I do have a Patreon page, and huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out. Stay classy everyone, and bye bye.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.